So where does this leave YouTube? Because this is a much bigger thing than just Steven Crowder. It's not just about Steven Crowder. It is fucking with a lot of people. G'day ladies and gentlemen, my name's Isaac Butterfield and this is a concerning video to make because not just me, not just creators on the YouTube platform, but you as well are under attack this week because there is something that's going on that is going to absolutely... I don't think it's going to just destroy YouTube and YouTubers and people who enjoy this content, but I think it's very much going to leave a mark on us that will last a very long time. It all started with a man called Steven Crowder. Now, if you don't know who Steven Crowder is, he's a... How do you describe him? He's a right-wing dude, no doubt. He's a comedian. He's a commentator. He commentates on a lot of things, politics, social issues. He has a giant YouTube channel with 3.7, I think, million subscribers. He also has a very popular series called Change My Mind, where he goes out to college campuses in the States and basically asks them to change his mind on different contentious subjects like abortion, to wage gaps, all that type of thing. And he has also been on Joe Rogan's podcast several times. He is very well known across the community of this digital scape. And also, I enjoy Steven Crowder. I like to put that out here straight away off the bat because I enjoy the way he speaks. I enjoy how he makes fun of people. And he is a very knowledgeable human being as well. He is very well researched, he has a big team behind him, and his channel, and that's why his channel is so very popular, because it is quite hard-hitting in many areas, but is also factual and interesting as well. But one person that doesn't enjoy Steven Crowder, and in fact thinks he is the spawn of Satan, is Carlos Massa. And Carlos Massa is a journalist, and I will use that term very, 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 very lightly. The only reason he is even considered as a journalist is because he's employed by Vox, who is owned by NBC, and they just think they're fucking kings and they can do whatever they want. When in reality, it's not even slightly like that, because I deliver the same type of things that Carlos Massa does, even though we have a very different political leaning and we think completely differently from one another. So should I start considering myself a journalist? No, because I wouldn't want to be one of those absolute cocksuckers. Anyway, Carlos was very upset this week, okay? And just actually, you know what? To give you an understanding of who Carlos is and what Vox is basically BuzzFeed, okay? And Vox is owned by NBC, as I said, so they're owned by a large mainstream media conglomerate, and they've come out and they've said a lot of fucking ridiculous things over the years, as you can imagine, considering I've just compared them with BuzzFeed. But Carlos and his journalistic standards really need to be put into question here before we go into this video at all, because he even has a TED Talk online where he questions whether or not being neutral when it comes to reporting news is a good thing. Yeah, good one, Carlos. Are you fucking the full quid, mate? Now, Carlos got very upset this week where he put up a compilation of many, many different things that Steven Crowder had said about him. Now, I'm going to play this for you. Now, it is offensive, some of the things that Steven Crowder says in here, so if you get offended very easily, please kindly fuck off immediately, and I'm going to play it right now.
Before we get to the video, with our favorite lispy sprite from Vox. It's ridiculous. It's bonkers. You're being given a free pass as a crappy writer because you're gay.
Violence, filth.
Okay, so the little queer could eat his chips all nonchalantly. It's code for rape, Mr. Queer eating chips on the Vox channel. Chip, 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 but you can eat just one, like dicks. This is what Mr. Gay Vox wants to do. Mr. Lispy Queer from Vox. What were you holding, Gay Latino from Vox? Even his hand movement in fast motion is gay. Now we're here with the short-haired angry lesbian on Skype. And cable news bitching. Two gay guys sitting there eating a banana. We get the symbolism there. The truth is hiding in a closet 2 weeks later, probably along to his next Pride Parade outfit. This guy on the gay semi-Latino Vox. Oh, okay, so you really are just an angry little queer. All right, I can't deal with this Sprite anymore. Okay, he just sachets across without, like, just, the gay Vox Sprite is wrong! Now he could be a tranny, Your Honor! How many lispy, angry Sprites and Vox sachet across your screen and try and tell you otherwise. Or you, by the way, the gay Mexican guy, the gay Latino V-neck. Gay Mexican. Or Mexican gay guy used to work. Mexican gay Latino there at Vox. Oh, gay Latino from Vox. The token Vox gay atheist Sprite with surprisingly flaccid chest considering how thin he is. It is very bizarre to me. Ad hominem, yes, but it was an addendum to fact.
Now, sure, they are some offensive things that Steven Crowder has said there. Now, the things he said there you could sort of consider are homophobic slurs, okay? Now, he does use the word queer. Now, I understand why someone would be upset about someone calling them queer, but aren't we, as a society, supposed to refer to people who are gay as queer? Because I don't understand the rules. I know I have gay people that come to my shows that watch this channel. If you can let me know in the comment section below, what are the rules when it comes to this? Because I don't want to upset people by calling them the wrong word. I want to make people, particularly when I meet them, I don't want to refer to them as gay if that upsets them, or queer if that upsets them, because, you know, this is their livelihood. You know, I just don't want to upset people, you know, like in that sort of terms when it's face to face. On here, I don't give a fuck. But I think as most people in society, we want to make people feel, you know, welcome. So he's called him a queer, but Carlos has also referred to himself as queer. So does that not make it okay? And using the gay word, Carlos has also called himself gay in his Twitter handle. His Twitter handle is gay wonk. So does this give Steven Crowder the right or the ability to use these words in his own way to make fun of him? Maybe it could definitely be argued that point. And also, Carlos, can I just say this? Mate, you are in the public eye. Vox, a channel which you star on apparently. You have millions of views on some of your videos. You are absolutely in the public eye. People make fun of you in the public eye. People say horrible, mean things in the same way that they say lovely, lovely things to you and they praise you and all these lovely things. They also are people out there that will say very, very horrible, mean things to you, Carlos. And you know how I know this, mate? Because it happens to me too. For every positive, happy, beautiful comment that I receive from beautiful people who subscribe to this channel, and you should absolutely subscribe to this channel, go and check that out, the big red button down there, go and click that. We're going to hit 1 million by my birthday, the 4th of July. And, you know, I look at those comments, but you know what really gets me? The ones, or used to get me before I sort of really noticed how to deal with this, was the ones that were negative. Because I've had death threats. I've had countless death threats from vegans and cyclists and all these crazy feminists. And if you want to play the game of being in view of the entire public, then this is the price you pay. You don't have as much privacy as you once had. And that's why you get paid the big bucks, Carlos, because you have to deal with things that other people don't have to deal with. But Carlos did not have that attitude at all. His tweet went super duper bloody viral. And people jumped on it absolutely in hordes, okay? People from the right were arguing from people from the left, and people in the middle were freaking out on the fence. And I was sort of watching it in the wings, not paying too much attention, but then it started to really pick up some speed. Because once Carlos understood that Steven Crowder wasn't going to have an apology ready for him. In fact, the video that Crowder made that evening was a joke apology, which is one of my moves. Good work, Steven. Yeah, it's always a good one to lure him in with a bit of clickbait. I enjoy that. And Massa obviously seen that, so he rallied his allies, his hordes of these crazy left-wing people to go on this massive attack that not only went after Steven Crowder for the things he said that we can all accept were not very nice, but also for a t-shirt that Steven Crowder has on his website, which reads, "Socialism is for figs." Okay? Now, a lot of people are saying, okay, it obviously means that other F word that we can't say here on YouTube and we probably shouldn't say in public. And a lot of people are thinking, okay, well, why is that allowed up there? That shouldn't be allowed up there. He shouldn't be allowed to advertise that on this platform. And I think, okay, that's fair enough. I can see where they're coming from. Fair enough. But also, there's a whole backstory to that fig thing where it's not actually the F word that we're talking about. It's a whole inside joke, which I just can't even bother looking into. But are we really worried about that? Well, they were. So they jumped on that whole bus. They jumped on that and they started realizing that Steven Crowder's not going to do anything about it. So the only people that are going to do anything about it is YouTube. So by default, because YouTube came out and said what Steven Crowder said in those videos was not enough to remove those videos from YouTube itself, then YouTube, by default, hates gay people and is against the LBGTQ plus Q MC square root society, all right? That's what Carlos Massa and his group of cronies has come up with. It's unbelievable. And this is what people do, right? This is what a lot of people do on that side of the spectrum. They decide that if you say something that they don't agree with, they will use these slurs like racist, homophobic, all these type of things to put you in a box where people do not take you seriously at all. And particularly when it happens to corporations, they squirm, they wiggle, and they have to try and wriggle out of it in some way. And that is exactly what YouTube decided to do over the last few days. Firstly, they came out and said that Steven Crowder's videos would be demonetized until he removed the Socialism is for Figs t-shirt from his website, which you know, okay, I can see where they're coming from. They're trying to really crack down on that, okay? But that didn't work for Carlos Massa. In fact, that only infuriated him more. And he did what can only be described as lay on the floor, kick his legs around, and have a tantrum. Carrying on, screaming, whinging, bitching, and moaning that YouTube was the most horrible platform in the world. They were in a direct... They probably have a direct phone line to Satan himself. And they absolutely went after YouTube in this case again. So what they worked out from this entire thing, YouTube, was, okay, we have to do something drastic. And that's exactly what they did. They decided to demonetize Steven Crowder's channel. So now Steven Crowder is unable to make money from the videos and the millions of views that he gets. Okay, now that doesn't really hurt Steven Crowder because he can crowdfund, he can have Patreon accounts, all that type of stuff, and I'm sure from this he will in fact make more money than he ever did before. But still, this was still not enough for Carlos, Vox, and everyone who was jumping behind this. And at this point, a lot of the mainstream news was also jumping behind it, saying, oh, YouTube's a horrible group, and look what they're allowing harassment and online bullying and hate speech. So YouTube started to really freak out. But then Carlos did something that I find very, very, for lack of a better term, just shithouse. He made a video, and I think it was in a conversation with the Butterfield news service, which I can only imagine. I've never actually seen it, but I can imagine it's fucking bullshit. I'll try and find it and play it here.
The problem is that YouTube creates a platform where figureheads are able to rally and mobilize huge amounts of these bad actors and target their harassment towards individual targets. Steven Crowder is not an anomaly. He's not a bug in the machine. He's not an exception. He is YouTube's ideal creator. He's providing them with cheap, constant, highly engaging bullshit. And if you are a platform that is built to reward that stuff, stopping one person doesn't fix the problem. You're going to keep playing whack-a-mole for the rest of your lives because the incentives on your structure reward bigotry and bullying. Not enough to say, oh, well, we don't directly pay them. You give them a free platform to broadcast to millions of people and then watch them reap the rewards through Patreon or their online merch stores. You are giving these people a weapon to harass us. If you're subscribed to YouTube Premium or are doing anything that gives money to YouTube, you should cancel that shit and say, I don't want to give money to a corporation that makes queer people and people of color miserable. If you see YouTube publishing corporate pride branding on Pride Month, you should respond and tell them off because they're exploiting us and using us as props to make more money with advertisers.
He came out and said that what we should really be doing is focusing on if you're supporting YouTube as an advertiser or using YouTube Red or Premium, that you should pull out now and stop giving your money to YouTube. Now what this means is that he's basically shaming, to use one of his terms, YouTube's advertisers because they advertise with YouTube, this service which he decrees is a very bad group of people. Now this has a direct effect on not just Crowder, but every single creator on the platform that is making anything worthwhile. Because I don't know about you, if you watch my channel, chances are you watch a couple of other channels, how dare you, other channels that, you know, maybe they are a little bit offensive or they have different ideas to other people or they go against the mainstream. Every single one of those channels is now in disarray. It's honestly, it's another adpocalypse that's coming. It is dangerous, it is scary, and it is worrying for someone whose job it is to create content. Content creators actually are real people who have to go and pay for rent, pay for cameras, pay for lighting, pay for food, you know. And particularly for someone like me who has every single video every single fucking week demonetized because I'm covering a topic that apparently I'm not allowed to cover. It is demoralizing when that happens. You got to pay your bills at the end of the day. And that's why, if you want to support this channel, go and check out my comedy special. It's only $12.99. It's on my website. It's in the link below. I'm very proud of it. It's shot in beautiful high definition. It's Netflix quality. And basically you are getting something for supporting this channel as well. All that money goes to more camera equipment and the podcast that we're setting up, but that's neither here nor there. If you want to do that, the link is down below. I really do appreciate it. From all reports, everyone has loved it, and I'm the greatest person alive. But for other people who can't sell something like a special or merch or whatever, or don't have another job, then this is bad for them. And it is silencing people. It is censorship at the very core level. You are saying that now YouTube, and I know that a lot of people from YouTube say that, oh, you know, we don't push videos that, we don't hide videos rather that aren't monetized. But honestly, come on. Wouldn't you rather, as a YouTube shareholder, want that business to push a certain video because it is collecting ad revenue rather than a video that is not? I think that makes complete sense. If I was running a business, that's how I would probably run it. As much as it's not nice to content creators, it is real life, and that's just at the end of the day that YouTube cares. Sure, it cares about its creators, and I've met people from YouTube and they're lovely people, but I guarantee their bottom line is more important than bearded old me. So where does this leave YouTube? Because this is a much bigger thing than just Steven Crowder. It's not just about Steven Crowder. It is fucking with a lot of people. What ends up happening here? Does YouTube double down on this? Because there are reports coming out that YouTube's going to look at changing their whole harassment policy. What does that mean? Even in Australia, the Prime Minister, Scott Morrison, has come out and he said he's going to be attacking internet trolls. Do I classify as an internet troll because I make fun of people on my channel? What happens to this channel? What happens to other channels that does similar things? You know, do we just have our channels deleted? Do the videos get demonetized and, you know, downgraded and removed out of recommended, all those type of things? These are general concerns that I have as someone who does this for a job. I love making videos for people, but, you know, what does that mean for people who are coming up and they're trying to start a YouTube channel and they see all this, they, oh, it's not worth it. You know, are we missing out on very talented content creators because of the shit that's happening here? Possibly, very possibly, in fact. I know if I was just about to get into the game and I saw all this going on and I thought, oh, it's just not even worth it. I'll just go back to working at Woolies, fuck it. What this does prove is that if you play the victim, then you will get your way. What Massa has done here is all he's done here is he's been in the playground. Crowder's bullied him a little bit and he's gone to the principal whinging, and the principal's just gone, well, Mr. Crowder, you're going to get suspended. This is all that's happened. Dibberdobbers wear nappies, mate. Massa, I'm talking to you, mate. You're a little... Fuck, I can't even say it. Dibberdobbers wear nappies, wet ones too, okay? You tattletale, fucking big sook. Crowder no doubt said some very mean things about this person, and I'm sure if it happened to me, I'd be upset as well. But people like Massa have said things that are also quite mean. Calling people who don't deserve it a Nazi or a racist or a homophobe or xenophobic is a mean thing to do. In fact, if you go to Carlos Massa's Twitter page, he says that Tucker Carlson is a white supremacist, which is not true, I'm sure, and it's not a nice thing to say. But Carlos, can you see how ridiculous that sounds coming from you after you're carrying on like this? You can't throw stones in glass houses, mate. I honestly think that people who react like Carlos in this situation need to have a good hard look at themselves and perhaps replace their morning cornflakes with a big bowl of concrete to harden the fuck up. Alright? This isn't the beautiful, precious world that we all want it to be and they talk about in those BuzzFeed articles, okay? There are mean people on the internet and sometimes people are going to say mean things about you. You need to be able to act like water off a duck's back, Carlos. But I understand why he would do this, because this makes him famous. This is stroking, massaging his ego, and he is growing from it. I'm sure Steven Crowder will grow from it. You know, this is just what happens on YouTube. Drama is rewarded. And I'm not necessarily against that. I, like most people, enjoy watching people fight. That's why the UFC and MMA in general is growing. It is a massive sport because people enjoy drama. People are enjoying this drama. But when it has real world effects on other people, like YouTube freaking out and saying we need to change our monetization tactics, like, they don't. You just don't. You just sit there and go, yeah, hey, Crowder said some mean things. But guess what? This is a real world, mate. Fucking deal with it. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed this longer form, less edited sort of video. I thought about really sitting down and talking about my views on the subject. So I wrote the script out, but I also wanted to sort of talk off cuff and sort of work out, you know, what I really thought about it. And often I feel, particularly on stage, I feel that I get my best points out when I'm ad-libbing and speaking from the heart. So I thought I'd do that. And I also thought that I'd upload it on a Saturday morning to give people something to grab onto early on their weekend and just run into the rest of the week with. So let me know what you thought about this video down below. Did you agree with me? Did you disagree with me? What are the points that you would like to make? And also leave this video a like, because if you do, more people see it. Huh? That's how the old algorithm works. Probably, I don't know, just other people have said it in the past and I am just a big old copycat. So ladies and gentlemen, be a good motherfucker. Peace in the middle of us. There's a new video on Monday and I think you're really going to enjoy that one as well. Me Dick stinks and I'll see you all very soon. It's getting very dark in this room. I forgot to put the lights on. Toodaloo. Bye.